Black Out Loud Media Group. Welcome back to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, the place where poetry meets conversation. I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that plus sign so you don't miss an episode. Also, please subscribe to my blog, thebrownssugarcafe.blog, and if you find any value in this episode or any other episodes, make sure you leave a heartfelt review. So with that being said, let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for tuning in, and also thank you for those of you who reached out to me and let me know that you enjoyed episode 1. I really appreciate that. It's very refreshing to get some feedback and people letting you know that, your words resonate with them, because you're my audience and I do this for you. I do this so that you all can get some value and something to apply to your life that maybe make your life a little easier. We are finally here. We've made it to December. If you're listening to this podcast, you have something to be thankful for. The year might not have gone like you wanted to, but you made it to December. You made it this far. There's some things that you probably could have done better. There's some things you probably could have done worse. This is usually the time where we reflect on the things that we did throughout the year, the decisions we made, the things that we didn't do that we said we were going to do. I want to encourage you all not to wait until January 1st. If you have some new things you want to do, if you have some goals, if you have some lifestyle changes or anything, I don't want us to wait until January 1st. Because if you're thinking about it now, you should start it now. Waiting, and I've talked about this before, when you wait, you practice procrastination. If it's Friday and you feel like going to the gym, go to the gym. Don't say I'll wait until Monday. If you're waiting until Monday, you're putting more time in between and you're finding more time to make excuses and more time not to go. Now, if you already had plans on Friday and there's no way possible, I can understand that. But get up early Saturday morning and go to the gym. Don't wait until Monday. That's sometimes our problem when it comes to starting new things. We find every excuse, we procrastinate, we push things off and say, well, I'll just do it tomorrow or I'll just do it next week. Make time to do it today. If you have any type of goal, any type of plans for 2023, make time to start it today. If you want 2023 to be a better year, wouldn't it be better to start the year off doing what you needed to do, already in the process, already seeing the result? You don't wait until you're in battle to get ready for the battle. You don't wait until things are already coming at you to prepare. So why wait until the new year is here to prepare for the new year? It can be scary starting new things. It can be intimidating. And there are some people who don't set goals for the beginning of the year. Some people don't like starting New Year goals or New Year resolutions, whatever you want to call them. They think it's cliche. Some of that comes from years when some people have started New Year's resolutions and didn't stick with them. So they say they don't work. Okay, I get that. I understand. If you're not that person who does beginning of the year goals, I still challenge you. Write out a list of goals today. Start off with maybe 5. Start off with 5 things that you really want to do starting today and that you want to see manifest in 2023. Write those things down. They could be dreams that you've had or just things that you want to see done differently. Write those down and also write down a plan for each thing. That's another part of having goals. You have to have a plan with those goals. Just the goal alone isn't enough. Sometimes just the goal alone isn't enough to get people started. So write out a plan on how you're going to achieve each goal. And when it comes to writing out your plan, you want to think about a few things. Here's some suggestions. You want to think about community. Who can help me? Who can hold me accountable? Is there someone in my community or my circle that may share the same goal? We can accomplish more when we have community or at least somebody else to help us along the way. Then you have your what. What is needed to achieve your goal? What type of materials, if any? What information do you already possess and what information do you need to learn? That's important. If you sit down and think about it, a lot of the times we already have the information and the tools to accomplish our goals. We're just not using them. Some of the information that we received and we retained, we thought it was trivial, but that's where our mind has been with these things. That's why we are attracted to certain things. It's to help us better ourselves and help us to better other people. You have your why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? Why is this goal so important to you? Another why to ask yourself is, why haven't I achieved this goal yet? It could be something very simple as you just never started. That's the case for a lot of people. A lot of things haven't changed because we never started. And all it takes for us to do is to step out on faith and make it happen. When do you expect to achieve this goal? Give yourself a timeline. Not necessarily a deadline. Sometimes those deadlines don't work for people. But at least with a timeline, you can have a layout of your actionable steps. What steps do you need to take to get to where you're going? When should you start seeing results? That's another question. When should you start seeing results? If I start today and I'm doing X, Y, and Z, tomorrow I should see this, or the next day I should see this, or the next week, or the next month. But give yourself a timeline of when you should start seeing results and when you expect to achieve your goal. These are just a few suggestions, something maybe that you can take. Also, there's several different ways you can write down a plan. These are just some ideas to help you brainstorm so you can figure out what you need to do to make your goals a reality, what you need to do to achieve your goals. I wholeheartedly believe that we should dream big. But on the other side of that dream is we have to have a goal. Make that dream a goal. When you have a goal of achieving that dream, you have to come up with a plan. Write out a plan. I don't think we write enough. We don't put the information down enough. And it's not right in front of our face. It's not before us. Another thing visually that's pretty cool you can do is do a vision board. Don't wait until the beginning of the year to do a vision board. And you don't even have to have a vision board party. Vision board parties are cool. It's always cool to get together with people. But if you can't find anyone to participate with you, then do it by yourself. And you can have multiple vision boards. It doesn't have to be one big vision board. It could be just one for that goal that you're trying to obtain. It could be one with all of the goals that you're trying to obtain. But seeing things visually really helps us achieve them. Writing stuff out helps us achieve them. It makes it real. It makes it tangible. So let's get some action plans together. Let's get some actionable steps that we can do to achieve our goals. And no goal is too big. Personally, I don't think. No dream is too big. The time it may take for you to achieve these things might take longer than some of your other goals, or it might happen faster. But you'll never know unless you start it and get a plan together. So please don't wait until the beginning of the year to start making resolutions, and don't wait until the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month. We're in a new month. That's another time we like to start new things. It's a new month. We're going to do some new things. If it's the end of the month, the middle of the month, day 5 of the month, it doesn't matter. If you want to do something, make it happen. Find you some community. If you can, please. That's what I'm going to talk about a lot here in this season of the podcast is community. You need to find somebody or some people, and you all don't have to share the same dreams and goals exactly, but you have to have some sort of dreams and some sort of goals, and you can help each other. You might be the person that somebody else needs to help them with their goals. And in turn, by helping them with their structure, you'll be able to see things that you missed about yourself in your planning that can help you achieve your goals. We got to help each other, man. We connect with people. We interact with people on social media all the time. Social media has people so distant. It's the opposite. People are less social. And it's always this thing about the ask. Asking somebody for something is uncomfortable for some people. It feels salesy, and society has tricked us into thinking that asking for something is begging. And there's a difference between asking and begging, or asking for a handout. If you need help with something, that's not asking for a handout. Just help. I need someone to point me in the right direction. I can handle the rest. Or I need somebody to look at this. That's another part of the who. Find somebody that you can trust to look over your goals with you, that can be open and honest with you. Like, what things do you see about me that I need to change to even get started on this goal and get started with this plan? What things about me you see that might be a hindrance? And if you recognize this, can you help me? There's nothing wrong with that. The hardest part about that is probably finding somebody that you're comfortable with, that you're comfortable enough to ask that. If you don't know anybody personally, there's a lot of online communities. There's a lot of Facebook groups. I mean, there are a lot of things out there where you could actually find people to help you. It doesn't have to be somebody you know personally. You just have to search for it. We Google everything else, so why not Google things that can help us? We look at YouTube, Instagram, Reels, TikTok for everything else. So why not look for some things that can help you? You don't have to overload your mind with information to achieve your goals. You don't have to be so strict to where you're kind of stressed out trying to achieve your goals. You still have to be able to have some fun during that time when you're planning and preparing to achieve your goals. You got to have that sort of balance, but you still have to be focused enough to stay on target and finish what you started. The main thing is finish what you started. Now, I can speak from personal experience. I've had some goals and some things that I was working on. One of them, my book, and it took longer than I expected because there were some creative twists and turns. So I can say it was out of my hands, but I wasn't writing every day all the time. It was some times where I skipped a day or two in between, but I still got some writing in during the week. And there were just some days that the ideas that I had and things I wanted to write about had nothing to do with my book, but I still wrote them down to stay in that routine of writing and to stay in that creative space. Whenever I get the idea for the next book, my writing process is going to be different. Or I said last season, I did a writing challenge and I wrote, I think it was 250 words every day for a month. And that was a pretty cool experience. That was a goal I set, and how I achieved it is I set aside time to write, and I made sure I was able to either use my laptop, and I have a Word app on my phone. So I was able to use that and put everything on the same document. Even if I put some on my notes app on my phone, I still transferred it over. But having different avenues to write made it easier. Because for me, it's easier to, well, if I'm being honest, it's easier for me to write out with pen and paper. That's just, most of us, that's just old. It's thought of as old school, but things seem to flow better. Like even with writing goals and stuff, like there's a difference between writing out the goal, writing out your plan, than keying it in to your phone or keying it in on a laptop. There's just something about that pen and paper. I feel it connects you to whatever you're writing. When I started that writing challenge, I wanted to make sure that whatever space I was in, whatever I was doing, I was able to get at least 250 words out. One of the things I like to do with my writing is I used to like to have a certain space in a certain area where I would write, which I still kind of do, but I trained myself to be able to write in different places and different spaces because I didn't want to have that excuse. Here it is, excuse of why I didn't achieve something. I didn't want to say, oh, well, I don't have my laptop, or I'm not over in this chair with this certain temperature and this light. I wanted to make myself available to write. Whenever something comes to mind, I wanted to be able to write it out, because for so many years I had stopped writing things out on paper. And I had like poems and ideas and stuff, and I just had them in my head, never really wrote them out. So whenever that is, when I get the idea for this next book, I'm going to have a strict regimen where I'm writing something every day. I may give myself a minimum of, I'm not going to say maybe. I give myself a minimum of words per day, especially with writing books. If you have a goal for how many words you want in your book, you can split that up into how many days it's going to take you to get there. Find the time to start your goals sooner than later. Find time to start your goal now. Do it now. Do it today. And if there's a legitimate reason why you can't start today, start the next day. But don't go past tomorrow. Don't wait until 2023 to start living out 2023. Don't wait until 2023 to start making changes. Start today. It's better to go into the new year already making strides and already making progress toward your goal than to start from zero and run the risk of not even starting at all. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and this is the place where poetry meets conversation. Hit that follow button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an episode. Check out my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. Also connect with me on Instagram at thebrownsugarcafe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, remember, keep pushing forward.